Hi everyone, this is Killshop99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9. Tonight we're going to talk about the major characters that are probably going to be exiting the show. So once again, this is one of our speculation videos. We're going to do a lot of predictions tonight. This is not going to add confirmed spoilers, so you're safe up to this point. You don't have to run away. There will be some rumors mixed in with it, as always. But later on in the week, we're actually going to give you some confirmed spoilers that are starting to float around as well. So we're going to jump around a little bit tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a pretty busy day. We got back into comic book reads. We announced the winner of the caption contest, so congratulations to Uncle Creepy. Good job with that. Shoot me an email, Uncle Creepy, so we can figure out whether you want to go with the Apple card or go with the Google Play card. So either one we're fine with, and we will be posting. It's probably going to be tomorrow that we set up the second annual, well, not annual, I guess, second caption contest, so within the last couple weeks. So right now it looks like we're going to do that weekly and just have a little bit of fun with it. We will be streaming again tomorrow, and then Random Things, we're going to have a nice event too. We're going to have a gift card giveaway. So a lot of stuff for the holidays for you guys. Glad that you guys chose to be here on this Sunday night. I know it's a little different. Normally we're doing a countdown video and talking about the spoilers and what's going to happen. But we don't have too long to go. I mean, we got a couple months. I think we can make it through it. Anybody having Walking Dead withdrawals yet? Or are you guys still okay? Hopefully, I know a lot of people just, they've been messaging me, hey, Kills, I got football for a little bit. As long as we do a couple streams here or there, we can get involved in it. Pretty nice stuff. Pete D, what's going on? I see all the regular people showing up. But yes, make sure that you guys check out. Don't get too far away from 999 Gaming. I know we're doing the streams, but I still want you guys to check it out, get involved in the comic book reads and also the caption contest and some of the other videos. We're still going to do Walking Dead videos, but they're going to be shorter videos on that channel for at least a short period of time until we finish what we're doing here and then also get spoilers where we want to go. So just saw a recent interview, and I'm a little scared because when some of these actors start doing their other than Norman Reedus can go out and do interviews and he's safe. But when Stephen Yeun started doing videos and when Michael Cudlitz started doing interviews, then it was like the beginning of the end. And now I'm starting to see a few more publications with Deny. Don't want to think too much into it, but she, I think it was US Weekly or one publication, they're starting to ask her about the Whisperers. So in some cases they wouldn't even do the interview, but there's a certain amount that they can do and they can't do based on their contract, but she's not under contract for next year yet, and she's doing the juxtaposition to other villains they've ran into in the past. So she's like, it's just not just one dude. This is this is a stealthy group, and you just never see them coming, and it's something. It's unlike anything we've seen. We've seen cannibals. We've seen somebody has his own community that was a little bit deranged. With the governor, and then we saw Negan, who was just basically power hungry, and now we're seeing kind of like a cult. So, and then after that, we're probably going to see like the military force. So they're making the full spectrum of type of villains that are out there. So because there are no super chats, you guys know if you want to ask a question, you want to get a question in this video, just type it as a Q&A. And once again, I got my fingers crossed. We're probably going to get super chats up in the very, very near future. I was expecting any time. So could be tomorrow, might be sometime this week. Scott Kernan, super chat statement. There you go, Scott. I feel as if she could die near the end of season 10, as I feel if she could get bitten and have to be put down after reanimation either by Daryl or Judith. So, well, you are giving her another whole season, so at least that's good. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll get it worked out. The only thing that I hope is if she does decide to leave, I hope it's just not under one of these weird circumstances like Lauren. Because I just feel like I need a little bit more story. What's up, Cammie? Thank you for being here. Yeah, Casey, I agree. If she goes, I hope she doesn't die. But you do know how I feel about that. I still feel if she does die, that is going to be epic. It's going to be, the biggest death on the history of the show. That's my stance. Daniel K says Q&A. I still feel like we will see Michonne in the movies and the end seeing Rick alive. So I do have a little bit more information that's out there with the movies, and I think there's an article on Comic comicbook.com, that talked about this as well. Info is slowly starting to come out. And I think initially it was said it was going to be a trilogy of movies. And the confirmation that Jadis is still there. So I think Jadis is Polly Ann McIntosh is still going to be there. It's not like, they're going to throw her out of the helicopter or anything. But I think what they're talking about at this point is there's going to be a lot of information about the group that takes Rick. So remember how we were talking about we just didn't want to spend a whole lot of time and it's Rick's past and all those tear-jerking moments and they would have to get over that quick. Well, we didn't really entertain that idea that that a good portion of the story will be about the people who take Rick. I know it sounds like common sense, but that is a very interesting storyline. We're so worried about, well, who else could be there? Could it be Dwight? Could it be Heath? Could it be people? They're trying to break out. What is the reason why Rick's there? But we'll probably get a backstory of what these people are all about. And who knows, good or bad. Chris Rainick says if she leaves, she'd be searching for Rick, and hopefully she'll be in the movies. Yeah, and Sadiq. Yeah, we'll keep looking and assessing all the information that's out there. But there's still enough hidden clues. There's still enough secrets that have to surface. And, hey, one clue, one secret could lead to a quest. And that quest could be to find him. Right? You put 2 and 2 together. Never found a body. Somebody else might have saw the helicopter but didn't think anything of it. Thought they were just going crazy. And then that becomes dialogue, and then it becomes like a full-scale search. I do have a question for the group, and I'll jump around to a couple of your questions. How extensive do you think the search party was? Do you think that was some of the frustration? That maybe it was just, Daryl or Michonne and maybe Aaron, and that was about it? That people were sort of like, you know what? We need to rebuild, or I think that was a big... that's what separated the groups in my mind. That was the cause of the division, is maybe Michonne wanted the resources to just kind of keep going. Initially it could have been a fight, right? Rick's gone, and then all these emotions just go. And then once the emotions settle down, some groups are like, hey, sorry you lost Rick, and we loved him too, but we got to feed our people, and we got to do this. And, maybe Michonne and Daryl just wanted to keep looking, and they didn't want to give up, and a week turned into 2 weeks, and at that point, everybody's like, we just can't keep doing this forever. We got to move on. So Lisa Khaleesi says, I believe it's a big search, then dwindling. Well, very possible. But depending on, how the initial reaction was, it might not have been that big of a search. They might have, I hate to keep saying burn those bridges, but yeah. They might have burned the bridges literally and figuratively by not saying, hey, let's just calm down and let's just go look for Rick. It might have just been like, you caused this. No, you caused this. And just like a knockdown, drag-out situation. Jump over to, hang on, Scott. I'll get with you in a couple minutes because I missed a couple Q&As way up here. Who was it? I think it was, if they're still, Chad is scrolling pretty fast. Lisa Halt says, if she leaves, what about the kids? If she leaves, the kids are coming with her. Captain Crawfish says, do you think Sherry, Heath, and Dwight were A's and traded already? Yeah, that's such a tough call. I'm going to throw that out to the group. Would Dwight... We sort of have to think through this. Do you think Jadis could have trapped Dwight? Or do you think there's another group out there that might be doing a barter system? Or are these guys just landing their choppers and taking people? When Heath left, See, here's the problem that I have with that. When Heath left, the scavengers were still full force. So they could have taken Heath. Or the people in the helicopter could have just dropped down and taken Heath on their own. But with Dwight, all Jadis's help is dead. Now, Jadis still managed to get Negan, so she's crafty. We know that. She didn't manage to send him up. But Sherry could have been the same thing. So Heath and Sherry, I think, both could have been taken. Dwight, not so much. Yeah, when Dwight left, all of Jadis's people were dead. Simon had already killed them all. So Sherry and Heath would definitely be a possibility, but for Jadis to go out hunting Dwight, I don't think so. I think his a totally different story. I think Dwight's going to be back. And I think they got too good of a character in Dwight to just move on with it. He's not done. He's not done on the television show. I still think he's going to be part of. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on him and Negan becoming partners. And I still feel that Dwight is going to respect Daryl's wishes of don't ever come back. And the only way he's going to get in the good graces of Daryl is to save Daryl. Well, Glenda, that's a great question. So Glenda says, so if Dwight possibly not coming back this season, who will come to Daryl, Michonne in order to save them? Well, let's talk this out. Do you think that we could see a cliffhanger? Do you think that Daryl, Michonne, and Carol could be captive at the end of season 9, and maybe we see Dwight next season? Would you guys be okay waiting from April until October to find out if any of those major characters are permanently gone? I love cliffhangers. I think they're great. I think that'd be a great way to end the season. It really gets you, kind of in the Whisper arc and then keep you there. There's like people, no. Joe Fulford's like, no, don't want to see that. Oh, you guys are spoiled. You want everything handed to you. All the answers handed to you. It's okay. 6 months? Oh, man, could you imagine? Could you imagine the summer? All the speculation we'd have over the summer? I think it'd be a blast. Mystics. Kills, do you remember Angela Kang said a familiar face is returning? I hope it's Dwight. I think it was Jake from State Farm that said it was one of the best comments that I've seen. And I don't know if Angela Kang is that crafty, but when she said a familiar face is returning, he said, yeah, but I think it was Jake. Said that doesn't mean that it's going to be a face that's alive. Could be a whisperer cuts off somebody's face. That was creepy, but then I thought, that would be, it would be honest. That's for sure. Well, we're getting conflicting sources as well, because I have heard two different things, and that's why I'm not going to go on board and say he films or he does not film. I've heard that he films at the end of the season, and I've also heard that there are spoiler sites reporting that he didn't. So we'll have to wait until we get a little bit more intel. I'm still pretty certain that Negan's going to have a role in this, though. And I don't think he can do it by himself. And, as we talked about in the earlier stream today, if you guys missed it, go back and check that out. Alpha's bold entrance. So we did discuss a little bit of the comic arc and some of the people. And look, several of those people are already gone. So when we start to do our Pike predictions and lay out who's going to be there, it's like throwing darts right now. I would safely say, let's do this. In the comic, it's 12. We've heard from spoiler sites that it's 8. So I'm going to make it easy for you. But here's the rule. Here's the only rule. Don't give me your maybes. I need 4 people that if you had to bet on it right now, only 4, that you would kind of stake your claim and say, Kills, I guarantee you these 4 are definitely going to be the Pikes. They're definitely going to be people that are in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just give me 4, and I want to see how close we are. And if you start giving me Rosita and Ezekiel, I'm going to veto it, because it may be possible, but I wouldn't. Really, Walking Dead nerd, you are going to go out on a limb and say Rosita and Ezekiel and Yumi. That, if you had to pick 4, those would be the 4 that you would guarantee me. That seems bold. Whew. So Tammy, Luke, Alden you wouldn't think those 3 would be a little more possible? I just think Rosita and Ezekiel both are a huge gamble. I mean, if you said Luke, Alden, See, once I get past those 2, it's really tough. I feel like Luke, Alden, and either Rosita or Ezekiel. But I don't know which one I want to stake my claim to. And look, it's not that I'm afraid to make a prediction, because you guys know I will make predictions. It doesn't seem like anything is sort of formed yet, other than Luke and Alden. Luke and Alden, I can tell you, they are toast. They're done. And then I have to transition into a big character. But Father G, could you imagine? And as we talked about earlier today in the comic books, that would be Ezekiel on a Pike, or Rosita on a Pike, or Father G, and if they were just still trying to bite and chomp, and that would be twisted. Ozone is saying Luke, Alden, Carol, and Henry. Ozone. So if you had to pick 4, that would be 4 that you would, no doubt about it. I'm going to come back and refer to this video, because we're I see no way it's going to be Carol. I don't know if Pete D chimed in yet. If Pete D chimed in, it would be Tara, 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 and Tara. I have zero confidence that it'll be Carol. And hey, I'm not saying I'm not saying Walking Dead nerd is wrong, because several of you have came out and said could be Rosita and Ezekiel. I'm just struggling to see both, because it's too much of the script of the comic. Yeah, I could see, I could see breaking up some of these relationships. The advantage to breaking up the relationships is one, The Walking Dead doesn't like for us to get stuck on love too much. But the other thing is when you break up a relationship, you've got so much more venom and so much more fire and such a storyline of retribution and revenge, and I got to make up for that. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of a neat instigator to really move it along. And, we've hit our threshold of doctors, right? Every time you get 2 or more doctors, one has to die. So you almost have to pick Sadiq or Enid. And, maybe if she's going to pick out a few people from the fair, let's go with Enid. A lot of people are like, goodbye, Enid. You know what, Dwarf? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Alden living and Enid dying. I'm fine with that. So, a little different possibility is that Alden and Luke both do not die. I know I said I was pretty comfortable with them, but let me backtrack a little bit. Alden and Luke will be kidnapped, much like Ken and Dante. I'm not that far. You guys know I just did 107 today. Woo! I'm getting there. But I'll get the Whisper arc before. So before the end of February, or probably before February, I'll be well within this. So the 12 people who were piked: Olivia, Josh, Carson, Tammy, Luke, Aaron, Ken, Amber, Larry, Oscar, Rosita, and Ezekiel. So Ken and Dante were both taken. Am I correct with that? I just want to make sure. Ken and Dante were the 2 people. Let me get my comic book experts. Okay, just want to make sure we're good with that. So, Ken and Dante were taken, and then they were traded. Is that correct? So, they were freed. I just want to make sure, because if so, we could make this work. But then Ken got taken again and got piked. So Ken was one of 2 who was taken, traded, then he got taken again, and he got killed. All right, if that is correct, we could play that storyline out, because then you could have Alden and Luke, and they get traded back for Lydia, which is probably what happens, and then we kill one of them again. So if you had to pick Alden or Luke, one of those 2, and say, and there you go. So the second time was his own fault. So let's say it plays out like that on a television show. 2 people get taken, Alden and Ken. If I had to bet, I would say definitely those two. Then they get freed, and then the baby thing happens. So who is going to be the one, if it plays out like that, that'll end up going? So you guys think it'll be Luke? It's got to be somebody that pisses Magna off, wouldn't you think? I mean, I think it's going to be, with what she's been going through, that'll give her all the incentive to fight. And then Alden, he can kind of just stay back. And then, like you guys said, so maybe Luke he goes again, and then it could be Enid instead of Alden, which most of us would be okay with. I mean, she's weak. Her character's weak. She's as weak as Eugene was a couple of seasons ago. I mean, it's not they can't change it. They could, but I think they're just intentionally writing it weak. I mean, Eugene actually has some... he's got some arc now. And William Finney, I agree with that. Magna's unpredictability. So I just hope it doesn't play out like the whole Dwight Daryl thing. They were out in the woods. I did not like that kidnapping scene at the end of 6, going into 7. Seeing all them, thrown in the back of that van. Light shining through the van. Yeah. So, possibly Tammy. But maybe, do you think that Earl may do something to piss Alpha off? I mean, she goes to the fair. She's going to have some interaction with Earl. Maybe he doesn't want to trade the machete. I don't know. Feels like something's going to go down. Do you think that Tammy might be some penalty for some bad situation, or maybe he doesn't help her, or looks at her the wrong way, doesn't greet her fast enough? I mean, you guys know the whispers. I mean, it just seems like 8 people is a lot. I mean, if it is 8, 12 in the comic is definitely a lot. Well, Wilani, the word is that Earl's making weapons for the fair. And Alpha and Earl will have a conversation at the fair. That's what I'm hearing. So there is some, she does kind of sneak in. Apparently she can sneak in places, and later on I guess she sneaks in Alexandra's safe zone. I'm just going off of what little research that I've got from the comic. I haven't read up to it, but I've got my Cliff's Notes. Apparently Alpha just puts on a dress and blends right in. But as we talked about in the earlier stream today, keep in mind, this fair is not like a few hour event. This is a big deal. It's getting communities together and people and trading, and there's going to be a lot of people there. So it's not it's not like it's just something that just you check in, you trade a few things. I mean, this is an event. It's a big deal, and that's probably why they can't cancel it, even though there's other things going on. So, is there a significance of 12 people? I mean, we could say 12 disciples, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, going from the comic, was 12 just the number that she thought would get Rick to break? Like, see all these people I killed? I had a little trouble with them. Was there a group of 12 people that happened to be outside of Hilltop and it was easy for her to take them? That's kind of what I want to kind of get into. That's more directed to the comic fans because Leanne, we're referring to the comic at this point. We'll tie it back into the spoilers. I know you guys have heard from Spoiling Dead's fan page. They said it's 8. But in the comic, it's 12. So I'm just wondering if there was a significance of her taking the people that she took. And yeah, I mean, it is true. There's probably more. Here's the look. In a comic, it could be 50 in the comic probably because all they got to do is draw up a few more characters and they could, have one character have a couple lines and say, "Hey, Amber. Hey, Tom. Hey, Bill." And then it's like, okay, well, they were killed. In a TV show, I mean, they got to pay these actors, and they got to give them airtime, and then we got to kind of know who they are to have any type of effect on us whatsoever. So, some of the characters that they mentioned even in the comic, I either have not been introduced to them yet, or, I mean, I don't know who a couple of them are. I've heard their names, and I think in a TV show, okay, they scale it down. There's 8. I'm fine with that. Scale it down to 8. But what I'm trying to get to is, are they going to portray Alpha as somebody who's very vindictive or someone that just doesn't give a damn? Someone who's just like, you know what? 8, I'm going to put one every 1/8 of a mile, and there you go. Now you'll know to stay away. Or is it like, hey, Earl, I offered you half a skin for that machete, and you charged me 2 skins for that machete. So, I'm going to take your wife, kill her. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to. The gist of it is there going to be some relevance, some method to her madness? I hate to use that cliche, but that's the only way I can say it. So, Maria, I understand, and I've heard she has no conscience and she has no soul, but she still, I think, would have a strategy. It's fine not to have a conscience, but usually leaders have a rationale. You know what? Son, it's a little cloudy today. I'm going to murder a whole bunch of people. That doesn't seem like her MO. I mean, I think it's more, this is why I'm going to do it. Lakeisha said, I wonder how Rick would have dealt with her. Well, if she takes Carl, Rick would have been blowing snot bubbles like he did with Negan. I'm sorry. If you guys are eating, that was terrible. It's just the first thing that popped into my head whenever I started thinking about Rick in a moment of adversity. I love Rick Grimes, but I have to tell you, in some of the most important moments, he was incapacitated quite a bit. So, but he was a real leader, because real leaders are not like superheroes. They have like a human side. Pete, that's great. That would have been super chatted. The fact now that Rick's alive, we could do like a spoof video of just all the things that we genuinely love about Rick. The fact that he couldn't shoot, he was always at a disadvantage, he could never beat up Daryl. He could bite though. Rick could bite people. That's one thing. Bit the dude's neck in the comic. I know he bit Negan's arm. So he did have that going for him. All right, Scott Kernan says, Kills, what is your favorite episode of The Walking Dead ever? What is your most hated episode of Walking Dead ever? It is, Scott, it's the same. My most favorite episode was 7-1, and my most hated episode was 7-1, and I've only watched it one time. For various reasons. Now, all right, you know what? That's a little too tricky. I hated parts of it and I love parts of it, but yeah, just parts. So my favorite episode was 7-1. That was a Negan lineup. And I agree. My least favorite was the Morgan filler episode in between the Glenn dumpster scene. Yeah, I hated that. And I hate to say it because a lot of people loved it. But, yeah, I didn't like it. I thought he did a great job of acting, but I thought they overdid it. It was way too much torture. And if I go back and watch it again, then I'll never like Negan at all. And I still don't like him. I just don't want to watch it again. I'm just ready to move on and have Negan help the group. Super chat statement. Coincidentally, they were written by the same person. Yeah. Chris Raining says, do you remember when Rick's aim was great? The church. Rick's had some good shooting moments. The logs, the episode, what was it? Was it 9-3, 9-4, whatever, where Aaron got his arm crushed. I mean, Rick shot the rope. So, it's funny you guys bring this up. Rick is going after Negan, and he's literally like 8 feet away from him. He can't shoot Negan. However, he can shoot a rope and break all the logs for the walkers, and he also shot the box of explosives and blew the bridge up. I mean, it's not bad. So we're going to wind this down a little bit because I know you guys want to hang out and got some stuff to do, and this is kind of our countdown video. We'll be back here at 9:30 tomorrow. But I got one additional question. So I'm going to take Rosita and Ezekiel off the board. Maybe Rosita dies. Maybe Ezekiel dies. You know what? Maybe both of them do. But I got a feeling in the second half there's going to be another major character that's going to die. So minus the two of them, I feel like there's going to be a lot of death. And I'm going to say at least one more major, maybe two. Give me the one more name that you think not a lot of people are expecting, but could be the shocking death of the second half. One more name. Major character. Julie says Michonne. June, it won't be Carol. It won't be Carol. Randall, I wouldn't give Henry major status. And Jerry's on the borderline. Aaron's too strong. I see a lot of people typing Father G, and I'm going to tell you why I think it could be Father G. There's two reasons. I'll give you a reason why it could be and a reason why it won't be. Father G is the only person that we know of that is alive that probably knows about Jadis and the helicopter. Now, Negan knows about the helicopter, but Father G knew that they were trading people. He knew the whole story. Morgan could know a little bit. Negan knows a little bit. But if they really wanted to kill the people who are going to go look for Rick Grimes narrative, Father G dying would be the person that would make the most sense. Now, on the flip side of that, if they want a sidebar and, hey, Negan and a priest walk into a bar, maybe, they have a conversation and facts come out and they want to push the audience in that direction, it's a possibility. But that's why I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not ready to make a bold prediction and say he could die because I just don't know the direction writers want to push us in. But what I do know is major characters will die, which is going to increase the shock value. I think many of you agree with that. The Whispers are like something we've never seen before. And killing a bunch of minor characters, the Joshes, the Ambers, the Larrys of the world, that's not going to add shock value. Just out of curiosity, comic fans, Amber, is this the Amber that was one of Negan's wives? Is that the Amber that they're referring to? I'm going to direct this just strictly to the comic fans. Okay. That could be interesting as well. And the last thing that I'm going to throw out there is, so Amber, Mark, Frankie, Sherry, have we seen anything with them? Amber, Frankie, Sherry, and Mark. We did ask in a video several weeks ago, are there any major characters or any characters that are involved in the story that we haven't heard from and could surface? So the familiar faces, so Fluff, Mark is the first one to get the iron. That was Amber's husband. Frankie was one of the ones that was visiting Eugene. So, what do you guys think? Whispers? I know people think Pikes, but the Whispers have to be consumed and they have to be made up of something. Is it possible that we will see some of those characters in the Whisper army? What do you think? Yay or nay? And then with that, we're going to wind this thing down. So I'm going to ask everybody to do me a big favor. Make sure you pike the like button. We will discuss this at length tomorrow night. We're going to add a couple more topics to it. But, yeah, I think I want to get into some whisper topics and if some of these familiar faces, once we see them take their mask off, they're local. And it just never really, we never really threw it out there. We keep talking about the saviors, but we're missing Negan's wives and some of the people that help Negan's wives. So, we'll get into that. All right, everybody, thank you for everything that you do. We're not doing shout-outs tonight because we ran about 15 minutes over. I will catch everybody up tomorrow night. Just real quick, let me let you guys know a little bit of what's going on the rest of the week. So tomorrow night, we will be streaming from here once again. We will have a Walking Dead topic. Tuesday night, we will be doing random things right here on this channel. We may not keep random things here, but I just want to get people a little bit more familiar with all the channels. That'll probably end up going back to 999 Gaming pretty soon. Hopefully you guys are subscribed to all the channels. Make sure you hit the notification. We're going to be doing videos on a little bit of each. And then later on this week, we are going to add some updated content to the 999 spoiler site as well. So a lot of good stuff. I do want to give a shout out to, you know what, I'll do a couple of shout outs here just really, really quickly because I want to say thanks to, we got a couple brand new Patreons. You guys can see Jeremy Pierce, brand new as well. Of course, all the sponsors, all the would-be super chatters that, they're kind of holding tight. Like, when are we going to be able to super chat again? You'll see that little icon down there before long. And the moderators do a fantastic job as well, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, and Kels. And I'm just going to give one big shout out to all of you, which is the 999 Army. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Meet me back here at 9:30 tomorrow night. And also, sometime tomorrow evening, we will post the second caption contest. That'll be on 999 Gaming. Once again, a shout out to Uncle Creepy for winning the caption contest. Who is going to be the next winner? And what picture are you guys going to be captioning? So we'll find out tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you then. Peace.